Good morning. How is everybody? I'm Belinda with Just Be Yoga, and this is our home yoga practice live. And today is Thursday. That is our try new things, extend into new edges, all within flexibility. And I am a little bit excited because I'm like, yay, we get to play with some new things. And keep it within the context of flexibility, the theme that we've been working on this week. So come on in. Let me know that you're here. And we're going to get moving today because I have 3 ranges that I'd like to work on. But first, I'd like to warm us up and get us into our mindset of our practice. If you are new, home yoga practice is kind of like a developmental series to work incrementally and intentionally on tools and tips to create your own personal yoga practice. Have a direct intention about what is it that I'm practicing, how much time do I have to give to it, what am I observing? And I do hope that those who've been following along are writing in a journal. I'm not saying that every single day, we got to bring forgiveness onto everything. But the more that we're starting to jot down and observe, look back at our notes, we're really bringing ourselves in wholly invested into our program of our development of our practice. Good morning, Joanna. Alrighty, so today, Thursdays, we tend to work on new edges and new limits. So we're going to be moving a bit today, and then I'll spend some time specifically on 3, hopefully, 3 different regions that we're going to work specifically in new ways, hopefully. And let's be kind to ourselves and see what new edges we can discover, all within flexibility. Last bit before I get on my mat with our child's pose, because we're going to start there today. Let's remember that at least physiologically, I was talking about flexibility on a physiological level in terms of elasticity and plasticity. Elasticity, what is the amount that our fleshy space wants to give and return back to a space. And we have to respect its limits of its give and give it time to come back to its space. The plasticity, how much can a space hold and hold strength and integrity in that lengthened space. All right. So, and that's going to be important in some of the spaces that we come into. I've been referring to it as anchoring. So let's feel how much strength do we have to maintain that anchoring, and how much play can we give for the spaces that want to give and not force. All righty. So we're going to come and start in our child's pose. Welcome to anyone who is joining us for the first time. Listen to your own bodies, please, and let's work on moderation rather than excess. So we'll start with our knees wide and sink our hips back. If you need cushions or pillows or blankets under your knees, please feel free to give yourselves what you need for comfort. And let's do our check-in here. And that check-in is just kind of scanning the physical body and noticing areas that are tight, areas that are feeling limited, areas that are eager and free. Maybe scan from your bones to your muscles, to your ligaments, to your skin. Scan the organs. Scan the breath process, coming into breath. Observing the breath and observing our mind. Ultimately, that's where we are, and we're confronting our reactions and our expectations. Meet yourselves where you are. Why are you on your mat? What are you practicing today? What are you connecting with? Yoga means to create a connection. Let's lengthen the arms out in front of us. Feel the sockets of the shoulders Try to keep the bones within those sockets and encourage feeling the flesh and the skin expanding and lengthening. Push the butt back. Feel your spine. Breath in as we come forward to hands and knees. Breath out as we tuck the toes, lift the hips, down dog. Let's respect the limits that the body wants to offer. First time here. Maybe pedaling your heels. Feel your bones. Feel your flesh. Breath in, tilt the tailbone up, look forward. And let's step the feet up in between our hands. Breathe in as we pull the chest long and lift it upward. Exhale, release, keeping the knees soft. And let's roll the spine upward, coming up to standing. Breath in. Good morning, Elizabeth. Good. Let's feel here. Remember the anchoring I spoke about. Push the legs down. Be aware of everything from your hips down. Rooting. Feel everything from the waist up, lifting, but keep the shoulders in the socket. Breath in. Exhale, forward, fold, hinging. Feel the back of your body from the backs of your legs all the way through your low back to the back of your neck. Breathe in, lift the chest. Feel the belly and the chest. And can we imagine that that's lengthening as well? We'll plant the palms, step to plank, maybe use your knees, breath in. Exhale, feel yourselves deliberately lowering down to your belly. Breathe in as you lift the chest, but keep the belly on the floor. Exhale, lower. Let's give ourselves a fair shot at breath here. Inhale, lift. Body in motion in concert with breath. Exhale, lower. We'll do that one more time. Breath in. Exhale, come to hands and knees. Lift your hips, down dog. Breath in. Breath out. Soften the flesh around the bones of your neck and shoulders. Feel the bone structure supporting the flesh. Let the flesh ease around the bone structure. Breath in, tilt the tailbone up. Exhale, let's step the feet up in between our hands. Breathe in, lift the chest. Breathe out, let it go. Inhale all the way up. Let's reach, shoulders in socket. Exhale, hands to prayer. Let's bring the hands behind the back. Find an interlace or hold a strap. Lift the wrists up. Open the collarbones. Now don't try to lean back. Stay as erect as you can in your mountain. Be aware of your feet rooting you down. Lift and grow tall through the waist. Open up your collarbones, shoulder blades down. Let your breath in. What's stretching and what's stiffening? Can both kinds of action coexist and collaborate with one another? Let's lift the chin, tuck the chin. Lift the chin, tuck the chin. Side to side, breathe. Fluidity. Remember why you are on your mat. We're practicing kindness first. First limb of yoga, the yamas, ahimsa. Good, let's find our neck rotations. What is the range of movement? Breathe. Be kind to your body. Change direction. What areas of the neck and throat are we now aware of that we're not usually? Is it because we're not frequently moving in this manner? I'm not saying we need to, it's just be aware of, oh yes, I don't do this often. Breath in, push the legs down, thrust the hips forward, and aim the chest to the ceiling. Exhale, we'll bring the arms up and over with us and release the arms. Breath in, lift the chest. Exhale, step back to plank. Maybe put the knees down. Breath in. Breathe out as you lower. Try not to hold your breath. Inhale, cobra. Can you feel the rib cage moving a little bit more? Exhale, downward facing dog. Let's lift the right leg up. Drop the head in. Breathe. Feel the back of your left leg. Let's let that be the focus. What are we noticing in the back of that leg? Bring that right leg down. Lift the left leg. Can you keep pushing that right heel down? Can you aim your butt to the ceiling, dropping the head down? What's resisting? What's yielding? Soften into it. Give it time. And then respect its boundaries. Let's bring that left foot down. We'll walk the hands back to the feet. You can bend the knees as you go. And then we'll bend the knees. Lift the chest chair. Breathe in. Weights in your heels. Breathe out. Be in your body, your bones, your flesh, your breath on your mat. And forward fold, let it go. Let's walk it back forward to plank. Take your time. Feel the stability and strength in the body that has to keep us contained. Exhale, lower it down. Try to keep your neck neutral. We'll just isolate the upper chest. Press down through the arms. Keep the elbows pinned. And offer the belly muscles to stretch. Belly skin to stretch. Keep rolling the shoulders open like you've got your hands behind your back. Chin level. Where's the breath? Keep the hips on the floor. And downward facing dog. Breathe in. Breathe out. Press both heels back and down. Soften in the shoulders. Good. Let's bring the right knee down. We'll step the left foot up. Look at your left knee, keeping it over your left heel. Now maybe have a block out in front of you. We're going to tuck the back toes and straighten that back leg. Sink down in your hips. Sag in your hips. Draw the chest forward. Now find the point where you can drop the hips down, but not have a screamy, teary feeling in the front of that hip. Breathe. Now push the heel back and squeeze inner thighs. Remember what I said about that plasticity, that stability, that anchoring. Now stop squeezing the thighs and sag in the hips again. When we feel that elastic point. All right, let's try some more stability again. Push the heel back, squeeze inner thighs. Breathe. Now let the heel go, sink in the hips. What's the stopping point in the front of that right thigh and the front of that right hip? What are we feeling that's connected or restricting in our back? Good. All right. You can bring the right knee down if you like to step the left foot back, or work on some stability. We'll root in the arms and step the left leg back. Find your plank and then push the butt up. Drop the head down, down dog. Now we'll just hang here for a moment in the downward dog and feel what I want to say is more of a non-action space of being in the down dog. Sometimes we super duper apply ourselves, so we don't get to feel the strengthening because we're really working on that anchoring. So can you trust the bones in the arms that they're holding you? Can you trust the bones in your legs that they're holding you? And soften as many muscles as you can. Release the weight of your head. Soften your thighs. Be in your fullest inhale, your fullest exhale. Now, very subtly, can you curve the tailbone up to the ceiling? And what do you notice in your calves, in the backs of your hamstrings, maybe even your low back? All right, we're going to find the other side for that lunge now. We'll bring that left knee down. Step your right foot up. Right foot over your heel. Perhaps you're using a block. We'll tuck the back toes, straighten that back leg. Trying to keep this knee over that heel as best we can. Now we'll just sag and sink for a moment. Honor and respect this side. Check in with what this side wants to say yes to immediately and no to immediately. Now, energy through the left heel, that could be enough. But maybe we need a little bit more containment, so let's squeeze inner thighs. Keep driving that left heel back, squeeze inner thighs. Remember to breathe. Now, let's relax the heel and sag in the hips. Draw the chest forward. Try not to round the spine. So we're encouraging the torso to lift and lengthen. Take the breath with you. All right, drive that left heel back. Squeeze inner thighs. Breathe. Now, squeezing inner thighs doesn't mean strangle. Can we find a nice little peaceful space in the middle? Where's your breath? Beautiful. Now let's sag. Ooh, what has changed? Maybe the body gave us a little bit more elasticity. Maybe it's saying, we have hit our point. Can you respect it? Have no goal in mind. Meet your body where it is. All right, last time. Drive that heel back. Squeeze inner thighs. Contain, strong, and lengthened. Breath. All right, let's choose how we're going to come back. You can bring your left knee down first and step the right foot back, or just step back to plank. Where's your breath? And lift the hips up and back down, dog. Beautiful. Let's walk the hands back to the feet. And we'll roll the spine up. Okay. I hope that we've warmed up the body a little bit. Sorry about that, guys. And we're going to start with some standing spaces. So if you have a strap, go ahead and get a strap, maybe a towel or a belt if you don't have a strap. I'm going to get my strap. All right. So we're going to work on a standing space that's also going to be about lengthening the leg and finding a bit of a stretch, okay? So it's called Utthita Hasta Parangustasana, but you don't have to worry about that. And eventually, one day, maybe, it could look a little something like this. But let's think for a moment as I'm here in the space of what I was speaking about, elasticity and that plasticity. We got to work on the anchoring and have a stable mountain first. And then we have to respect where that leg wants to go. All right. So let's let go now of everything that you just saw, because I don't want you to have in your mind any impression of, I need something to look just like that. I want all of us to greet ourselves where we are. Where you are in your hamstrings, in your low back, which is a huge part of that stretch and of that posture. And I don't think that we give enough credit that the back is a huge component. And we've got to learn how to lengthen sections of our back. All right, so we're going to get our strap and bring it to the bottom of our right foot. I'm just going to say right so that I'll remember to say left. So you choose whether you're truly on your right leg or not. All right. Now, if you can notice here, I want to be in a regular mountain, right? I don't want to be leaning down, holding that strap. So find yourself at your mountain. Have no slack in the line. Shoulders relax. Now feel your mountain, pushing the legs down, lifting the chest. Find your breath. Your legs don't have to be absolutely together. So if that doesn't feel comfortable on your thighs, your back, then separate the feet a little. Now let's bring some weight. Remember, I've got the strap under my right leg. Let's bring some weight into the left leg while lifting the chest. So we got to work on this container. Otherwise, we're a wet noodle and we can't lift, okay, because we need that security and that stability to be able to lift. So now push the left leg down. Feel it as though you were standing on one leg, even though the right foot is on the earth. Feel yourselves just standing on the left leg. Now lift the right toes, keep the right heel down. Keep growing tall in your mountain. So already we're getting a stretch in the Achilles tendon and in the foot. Now start to push the heel forward and up, holding on with the strap tense. And let's just hold here. Be in the left leg. We got to invest in that anchoring. If you ever need, get closer to a wall and bring your hands to the wall to give you some stability. Now let's see the stopping point to lift the leg. Stay upright in the chest. Honor your stopping point. Breath in, breath out, and let's lower that down. All right, we're going to switch. So I'm going to do this the first time around with the strap. Second time around, you can stay with the strap, or I'm going to offer ways that we can do it with a connection with our hand to the foot, okay? But that's not accessible to everybody. So let's stay where we are. All right, so here we are. Find the mountain now. Don't skip ahead. We've got to put this intent here. Got to be in the earth. Otherwise, we're going to uproot ourselves. And we call that not having balance. Let's root the right leg down. Be in it. Can I breathe in it? Can I have a quiet, non-expecting mind in it? Bring that weight into the right leg. Lift the left toes. Drive the right heel down. Stand up. Feel the mountain here. What does it feel like in my waist, my hips, my side, my shoulders? To be in my mountain. Not in the next thing, being right here. Now start to drive that left heel down and forward, out and forward. Lift to the stopping point. Be in your right leg. If you want to shore up some space on that strap, you'll notice I just took my hand a little closer to the foot here. Notice how that tension point, that anchoring, will add to that stability to allow for the stretch. Breath. Are you still growing tall? Lengthening. Can you stretch the muscles of the torso upward? And be flexible enough in your mind to be okay with every wobble, every wiggle. Recognizing that nothing is static. Everything is constantly changing. And let's slowly lower that leg down. All right, feel free to shake things out because we might have gotten so rigid that we were kind of choking things out, right? I want to set my strap aside. As I said, I was going to work on now to offer. So we're going to switch. You can bring that strap under the right foot, or I'm going to turn sideways. We can come down and see if you can grab a hold of your big toe with your index fingers and thumb, your peace fingers and thumbs. Draw the chest forward into that nice half flat back. Otherwise, you're standing in your mountain. We're just going to repeat lifting that right leg. We're going to do the same thing in order, though. Bring weight into the left leg. Lift the right toes. Drive the right heel to the floor. Pull the chest forward. Need that tension point. Your chest and your arm are now that strap. Good. And then we'll lift. Maybe you have to go back down. Breath. Drive the heel forward, chest up. Try to stay standing. It's new. It's okay. Maybe we take it back down. Breath. Good. We're going to switch. So you can switch it out with a strap, or you're grabbing a hold of the left big toe. If you'd like that right arm to be free, great. You could always bring it to your hip if you prefer. Feel the chest, giving you a nice tension anchoring point. Arm nice and strong and stable. Bring the weight into the right leg. If you're in that mountain, grow tall. We're going to lift the left toes, drive the left heel down, draw the chest upward. And here we go. We're going to lift. Breath. Maybe you're taking it right back down. Breath. Now, if you can stay, drive that heel forward. And pause. Maybe bend the left knee. What does that leg need? Where's your equilibrium? Equilibrium of your desire. Because we just want to find a peaceful spot, not do anything perfectly. Breath, and then accept what is. And we'll gradually bring ourselves back down. And release. Let's just forward fold. Deep breath. Sigh it out. Beautiful. Let's roll the spine up. Remember, if you've been joining with us in making your yoga practice plan, maybe this will be something that you're adding in, that you're wanting to practice a couple of times a day or at least once a day, choosing your amount of time, and then notice what you observe that's going on in your mind. Is your mind getting critical? Is your mind giving up? Or are you really forceful and rigid about what your desire is? And then what are we encountering when we feel those tense points inside of the hip, inside of the hamstring? And how do we bring ease into those moments? Maybe you'll start to notice your amount of time, your duration starts to elongate. Maybe your mind starts to get into a nice little peaceful space and you surprise yourself. All right, I'm going to work a little bit now on the upper chest and shoulder area. Excuse me. I don't know what's going on. This is going to be about a back bend, but we're not going to do it on the floor, not that full wheel or Urdhva Dhanurasana. We're going to do it using the wall. Why? Number one, it's going to be more accessible by doing it standing, because we're going to have less gravity on us, less gravitational pull and weight on the joints trying to come from this space upward, because it's going to require so much more strength as well as stability and strength in the joint socket. All right, so try to find a space of wall that is clear for yourselves. I'm going to bring myself my estimate of how long my arms are. So that's about 2 feet, that far away. And I'm just going to find my mountain, growing tall through the top of my head. Chin is level, shoulders rooting down to the floor, legs rooting me down, breath free. And I'm going to extend the arms out in front and up. I'm not sweeping it out. I want to keep the bones rotated forward and up. Now turn the palms forward. Shoulders rooting down, chest lifting up. Now reach your arms back. Try not to involve your low spine. Let's see about reaching the arms back. Push the legs down, send the hips forward. Feel the stretch in the front of you. Shoulders down. Can you move in this shoulder socket back anymore? Maybe you'll feel the limitation of bone to bone. Tuck the chin down if you like. Good. Let's bring the arms back and down. Feel free to do some shoulder rotations. All right, so we've got muscles in the shoulders that have to be stable and strong for us. And then we have to use the legs to lift the waist and feel the work of, oh, that's actually moving. That's stretching. All right, so we're going to lift again. Now, reach back, bend the knees a little, and push the hips up and see if your fingers will touch the wall. And bring it back. Notice, did you breathe? So let's do that again. Try to keep the diaphragm nice and relaxed. What's funny is I came back to the spot and I could feel the warm spot where my feet were. So that's kind of cool. All right, we'll lift. Reach. Chin down, chest, rib cage up. Push the feet down, bend the knees a bit, hips forward, chest up. See if those fingertips will touch the wall, that's all. Push the fingertips as hard into the wall as you can and use that as your anchor, your leverage point to lift the rib cage. Breathe. Keep the chin level, breathe. Let the air out, let the air in. Loosen your waist and lift and stretch the belly. Good. Let's lift the fingertips up and relax. All right. How we doing? Let's work the shoulders. Go ahead and take a moment, take a break. At least I know that Joanna and Elizabeth are here. So go ahead and let me know about anything that's going on. How are the shoulders feeling? How's the waist feeling? I really want to maximize the interactivity that we have. So before I take us to a new level, I want to know, are you at your limit? Is something hurting? Is something just not moving, but it's just not ready for the stretch? Talk to me a little bit before we move forward. So I'm just going to wait and see what we get about what's going on. For some of us in this space, the hips and the back can be taking a load. So I also want to know what we're feeling in that regard. All right, I'm waiting, Elizabeth. Waiting, Joanna. Give me something. And I see 3 other people, at least eyeballs. So let me know how this is feeling before we go forward. The last thing I want to do is create any sort of hindrance or issue in the shoulders as well as the hip. Oh, I scared someone away. Good. Kara, warm stretch to reach back. I could feel a nice energy in the shoulders and high back. Okay, warmth. Okay, you really didn't mean that term, warmth. All right, Kara, when we do this again, I want you to explore how many calm breaths you can have. Okay? Okay, Joanna, relax your shoulder blades down your back and try to relax your diaphragm, okay? I want you to work less through your arms and more through your core. Okay, I'm going to take those 2. Thank you all so much for contributing. I can't, all right, I'm teaching to a vacuum, and I know I'm not teaching to a vacuum because you're here. Okay, so remember, Thursdays is about new spaces. So we're going to see where we're going to go, but we don't want to over push. All right. So I'm going to lift. Remember what I said to each of you. Kara, find how many breaths you can have in a nice, calm way. Joanna, try not to work the shoulders so much. Ask some of the lower parts of you to do the work, right? You're doing a lot up in here, and this is the space we want to get free. Free, not force. Free, not force. All right, so I'm going to reach out in front. Turn the palms forward. Reach the arms back. I'm going to bend the knees, thrust the hips. And this time, I'm going to walk my palms maybe flat to the wall. And push my palms into the wall, drive my legs down, and I need my hips, my belly, keep the gaze to the ceiling. Come out if there's any panic, if you can't breathe. We don't want anything to feel pinchy. Breath. And bring ourselves back up. Let's counter. Let's counter. Come forward. Lightly bend the knees. Counter. Release that energy. And slowly roll your spine up. I'm going to offer that we give that one more go. All right? Core is working, yay, but don't over squeeze the core. If you over squeeze the core in that space, you won't be able to breathe. And what will solidifying the core do? It makes it more like a rod. We want it to bend. So we got to work out that balance. Okay, we're going to try this one more time, okay? If you want, walk another inch away from the wall. If you're not feeling any pain in your back, let's continue. If you're feeling any aching and pain starting to show up in the back, let's just stop and call it good for what we've practiced today and give it some time tomorrow. We've already done some cobras, okay? So you might be like, oh, I only did a couple of these back bends. No, we did a lot of cobras already. So we've been working the back. We're really isolating some areas and getting into some intensity. Let's be kind to the body. If you are joining for one more, I'm going to step forward another inch or so. Relax the shoulders. Bring your intention into your mountain. Reaching the arms out in front of us, turning the palms, shoulders down. Call this good. Practice your rooting and your lifting of the torso. Work the shoulders. Now bend the knees, hips forward. Patience. Maybe take your gaze to the wall. And we'll walk the palms. Push the arms into the wall. Drive the legs into the floor. Unsqueeze the butt. Breathe. Relax your throat. Walk your way up. Bring yourself up. And take it forward. Knees can be soft. Remember what I said about elasticity. It's not just about the distance that it can pull away, but also its ability to return. And we have to practice and have some patience for it to find its return. Good. Let's come down to our hands and knees. Feel free to share anything that's going on. Elizabeth, you said breathing. I'm glad, but I hope that there's something more that you want to say, or that you are able to breathe in that. That's great. I really strongly love the standing walking back bend as a great prep. We need never do it from on our back on the floor. Okay, crunch in the low back. You might be going too deep, too far. Work on the lift of the spine, Kara, more than the going backward. So really work here, work the upper back, and don't go any deeper. Soon as we get this to move and we learn to develop more stability down here, you'll be able to protect your back. So that's your back saying, I am compressing, I am not lengthening. At any point in time in our back bends, we do need to still be creating space, not compression. All right. So your body's sending you a good signal. We're going to work on another counter pose too. Do spend some good time in your forward fold as your counter pose out of that back bend. Good. Nice, Joanna. Thanks for sharing. Yes, your knees do bend. That is a spring system in our body. We got to relax that diaphragm. Okay, so we're going to do a little bit of that counter, as I was saying. If you can keep your thighs together, feel free to try that. Oh, okay. So Elizabeth was feeling some crunching in the low back as well. All right. So what I said is also still good for you, Elizabeth. All right. So we've got our inner thighs together, and all of this is with the understanding that no one came in here with any sort of herniation in their spine. If you've got spinal issues, please don't be doing this. I would prefer if anybody has anything going on structurally or any serious medical condition to call. Let's do a private. Don't try to do these generic video kind of sessions. It's bad enough to try to do that in a class environment, going into a studio. Worse yet, trying to do it virtually on a video. Okay, so we're going to come down, inner thighs together, maybe lift our flesh up and over those thighs. And we're going to just let the head fall, let the chest fall wherever it may. And just feel your low back. Try to keep your butt anchoring downward toward your heels. I know that we are compressing tummy and chest over the thighs. Let's use the breath and let's massage the back here, but having the knees together will work the spinal column and create that length a little bit more. We just can't avoid the stuff that's squished in the middle. We can't skip over it. It is what it is. Can you encourage yourselves to feel the stretch in the neck, in between the shoulder blades? Fill up the tummy with breath. All right, now I'm going to reach the arms out in front of me. Bring the palms together to prayer hands and bend the elbows. I'm walking them forward a little, and I'm going to drop my head and bring the hands behind the head. Find your breath. Let your head go. Good. And let's bring ourselves up. All right. We're going to do a yin space for our final space. So we worked standing, stretching through the back of the Achilles tendon, the calves, and the back of the hamstrings while working and feeling that anchoring to do that standing balance. We played with it with the strap. We played with it with a bind, connecting our hand to our foot, maybe. And then we worked on the standing back bend. So that urdhva, upward facing, dhanurasana, upward facing bow. Because we got to use a little bit less gravity. Gravity had less of a pull on us, and we got to just work on that upward lift through the chest and feel our range in the shoulders, in the thoracic, as well as in our hips and low back. Okay, so now we're going to come into these hips. Oh, I also talked about the counter pose. So coming into that forward bend, very crucial on any of these deep spaces, especially if we're finding certain new levels of stretch or flexibility. Let's definitely spend that time on that return. So maybe you notice where I am here. I've got my right knee bent. I've got my left leg back. Now already by having this left knee rolling inward, I'm going to ask my left hip to come down to the floor. You might need to take a rolled up blanket or something and put it under this butt because you don't want your spine looking like mine is right now. Okay, we want to see how much we can ask the torso to be in this erect space so that the areas that are actually bending or moving out of alignment in a healthy way are encouraging this stretch. So we're going to feel this from the back of the sacrum, maybe, through the side of the butt, our side butt, aka our medius, gluteus medius, and then coming around through the IT band and a bit of the quadricep. You might feel something going on in your groin. Now, work on this upward space. Feel the muscles in your waist, your serratus, around those ribs, lifting you up as though someone's got a hold of your waist and is lifting you up right here. Without it meaning this happens. Can we lift here, without doing this? All right, keep the spine this way, and we're going to twist to the right. Whoop, whoop, whoop. That was my back. Now, what are we noticing? From that left knee thigh, all the way around through the spine, all the way up the spine, around the abdomen as it twists. Intend the back of your neck to go upward, while sinking your hips downward. Keep driving that left butt and hip to the floor. Remember the anchoring that we need for the stretch. So the stretch is lifting up through the back of the neck. The anchoring is pressing back and down through the left hip. And whatever will move in our flexibility, our elasticity in the middle will happen. Now we'll stay in the twist. I did poor yoga planning. I did poor yoga planning for you guys as well. But at least my pillow is right there. So I'm going to reach for it. And I'm going to bring it down here. So I'm going to twist. Keep the twist. And lay in the twist on the pillow. If you want more, turn your neck to the right and then lay everything down. Now ungrip all of your muscles and follow the tension lines. Where do they begin? Where do they end? And you want those anchor points to relax. You want the ooey gooey elastic parts to relax. Just be in your breath and observe. Loosen both shoulders. Slide and sink and sag into this. You don't have to hold the form. Let the body go, and it will maintain whatever amount of this form it wants to. Observe your breath. Watch your breath. Follow its contours. Observe your muscles. Follow your muscles. Follow their contours. Now observe your mind, follow your mind. What are you thinking about? What are you analyzing, computing? planning. Soften in. Just observe. Don't do anything. Ungrip in your groin. Soften your neck. Relax your ears. We'll gradually bring ourselves up. So be kind as you're coming out. It may have felt like, well, I didn't do much, but you were maintaining a long, lengthened spiral stretch for a while. I'm going to keep this leg, the right leg, bent out in front of me. If you want, you could bring the pillow out in front of you. And we're going to come forward. Breath. Feel your back, feel your thighs. Relax your arms and your shoulders. Feel the folds of your flesh softening, melting, sinking heavier and heavier. And let's gradually bring ourselves up. Take your time as we switch sides. I hope that as some of you who are more regularly attending, that you're getting to notice that, actually trying to confine your practice to an hour or whatever amount of time, sometimes poses its own difficulties because, like, you could be hitting a point right now where your mind is finally a little slower, where the body is finally a little more cooperative, willing, desiring, and that connection between that mind and body is starting to find that union. And it's hard to want to leave practice, or it could feel like, oh, I'm ready to begin now. Atha yoga nushasanam. And thus that journey of yoga begins. So yeah, I feel that us limiting and conforming our practice to this 60-minute, 90-minute, whatever, after a while, if you have the time on one day a week to just say, I'm going to go in, I'm going to see what happens. And whatever happens, happens. And if it's 80 minutes, if it's 2 hours, if it's half a day, so what? That's you being in your connection. All right, so we're going to root this hip down. Lift up in the chest. I'm leaning a bit, because that's tight. What's anchoring? What's lifting? What are you doing on your mat right now? Or are you just waiting? Hold yourselves accountable. Not in a rigid disciplinarian kind of way. I'm real goofy on my mat. I'm like, oh yeah, I was pretending, and I'm just lighthearted and then just guide myself back. When you're ready, root down, lift up, find your twist, pushing that right hip down, growing tall through the back of the neck. Allow for movement in your midsection. Allow for movement. Don't force movement. What's in the way mentally? Is it a desire? Is it an expectation? Is it a memory? If something starts to move, are we surprised, or can we just go with the flow of, oh, that is now. That other moment is gone, and this is what now has to offer. This is what this breath has to offer. This is what this moment of awareness has to offer. And bring that flexibility of mind, not that rigidity of mind. Notice something that's tense, some muscle set, some area, and just ask yourself, could I loosen that? Could I let go? And what would happen to my pose, my structure, my mind, my awareness? So what did we learn about what we needed? And even if what we learned is my mind wants to know, am I doing it right or wrong when I let that go? Look at that too. All right, and now I did poor yoga planning. So I'm going to go ahead and get my pillow. I'm going to reset and establish my upward spiral. And then lay the belly down in the spiral, perhaps turning your gaze to the left. That could be super duper intense. So maybe don't do that. Do we only feel that something is valid if it is intense, if it is extreme? Can we bring the patience and the flexibility of mind to invite the subtle? Let our mind observe all of the nuance, all of the progressive layers. What is our relationship with breath on this side? What does our breath want from us on this side? Absorb that into you. What does my breath want from me on this side? Now find something that's tense and let it go. And just observe what happens. And if you feel like you're going to fall apart from letting it go, by all means, pick it back up. But if you can be okay, setting down whatever it was that you were holding on to, be okay. Follow your breath. Follow your bones. Can you feel and be aware of the weight of individual bones? Observe your breath. Now soften your mind. And let's gradually, slowly bring ourselves upright. Don't even be in a hurry with your eyelids. Coming out of that super elastic space, feeling the space return. Turning forward, maybe giving the spine a little counter movement. And when you are ready, pull the chest and the chin forward. Maybe bring that pillow out in front of you. What are we stretching into? What are we stretching away from? How do we confront the new spaces that we create in the stretch? It's kind of like when we clean a room in the house, do we reclutter it back up? And with what kind of stuff? What kind of thoughts are you filling into the spaces you're creating? Positive, empowering words? Are they forceful, demanding words? What kind of emotion are you filling into the space that you're creating? What kind of emotion do you want to make space for? And leave the space empty until it arrives. We leave the space open and fill it with belief. Belief and faith and possibility. And say that we can have space for space's sake. And observe any clinging that we have to the clutter and the stuff and the compression and that filling, that stuffing of ourselves. On an energetic level. And we'll bring ourselves up gently, slowly. And we'll bring ourselves to a seated space. You could be sitting on a chair. You could be sitting on a cushion. Feel your breath and arrive at a space of ease, Sukhasana, easy pose. Check in with the body now and what it has to say to you. Now, after we've moved, now, after we've created or confronted space. Check in with your breath. Now, as it has moved. Now, as it has carried energy into and out of the spaces that we were inviting. Coming into our mind. Look at the space between your thoughts. Can you stretch distance between your thoughts and be okay with the empty space? A single Om, if you wish to join. Invite the vibration of sound to fit and squeeze into all of the crevices of us. Deep breath in. Hands to your heart center at the Anjali Mudra. If you wish, you could always keep your palms here. Take a moment and maybe reflect on what came to you in your practice. Maybe you thought you came in practicing one thing and you're leaving out with a whole new awareness and respect for another thing. And hold that dear and close to your heart as you travel and carry your yoga off your mat with you. All the love and light in me recognizes and is deeply grateful for the love and light in you. Thank you for letting me share my practice of yoga with you. Thank you for sharing with me. Namaste. I'm Belinda. This has been Home Yoga Practice Live. This week working on flexibility. Thursday is our day of trying some new things or finding new edges. We're here with Just Be Yoga. Check out more at justbeyoga.com. If you wish to give a donation, you could do that there. You could do it on paypal.me/justbeyoga. I'll stick around a little bit if anybody would like to share, if they've got anything that they want to chat. I'm noticing that Elizabeth had been typing a little bit more. Went a little bit over on time, so I am trying to respect people's time. And if you only came in a little later, you can always hit replay or check out the rest of our videos. Every class is in our playlists on Facebook and on YouTube. Okay, namaste, Joanna. Thank you so much for coming. Oh, thank you, Elizabeth. I wanted to catch up on what I saw you writing here. You had to modify a lot. The descriptions of what you're trying to do. Thank you. I want to encourage more interactivity so that I can check in on what's going on in your bodies. I don't want to make any assumptions. And I do need to be better about making, different disclaimers about what could be going on in the body, because I don't know who's popping in here and I want them to be safe. This is, I guess in many ways it's really risky. I haven't done any inversions on this virtual stuff. I'm not going to do handstands and headstands and that kind of stuff. It's dangerous enough to try to do it in person. Trying to do it and y'all be like flopping around upside down in your house, you break your neck, kind of crazy stuff, right? I don't want any breaking of neck. But I'm happy to sit for a moment if anybody wants to talk about like what we're learning about flexibility, maybe what you noticed in some of those long holds, in that internal rotation of our hips, as well as that spiral. When we get into the ooey gooey bits, literally, right, of those twists, we can confront so many layers of resistance inside of ourselves, obstacles, looking at some old junk, clutter. Your body is 59? Awesome, Elizabeth. This body is 52. So, hey, I'm trying to catch up to you. I like to say I'm trying to keep my body as healthy as it can be for the duration of its stay on the planet, in its fullest range of movement that I can sustain for the duration of my stay on the planet. And I've got no plans for replacement parts. I would like to go out with all original equipment. Hi, Kara. I loved what you said about wondering if it feels valid, if it's not extreme. Yes. Good to hear and challenge you to relax and receive. Beautiful, Kara. A lot of times is where that subtlety happens. But we're the instant result kind of society and culture, right? Right, Elizabeth. I think that you're saying me too to the no replacement parts. I'm grateful to have the same knees that I came into the earth with. But yeah, so Carol, what I was saying, and thank you for sharing about that in terms of, whether something is valid if it's not extreme. That's part of the reason sometimes that I get a little upset about what I would call pop culture yoga or the yoga industrial complex. It's the images that are portrayed out there that we ascribe to or that are on the memes, right? They're not just that, us laying on that pillow. You and I, all of us know if we were just in it, a lot's going on in that thing. It isn't a good photo op, right? And it doesn't make us like walk away with a feeling, right? We just look like we're flopped down on a pillow and we're like, man, that looks like boring yoga. When we don't account for the depth that's going on in it. Instead, we like the postures that look like, whoa, that's some crazy levitation. Or, we love to look at those extremes and then we aspire to them, but we don't know all of the stages that it took. We don't know how many years it may have taken for an arm to come back there, especially if your anatomy wasn't automatically ready to go there, or you didn't have the cartilage of a 16-year-old, right? Can I get an amen? Anyway, it's been my honor to be able to share practice with you all. Flexibility is a fun range to bring into ourselves and say, what am I actually saying I want to be flexible for? Do I want to be flexible in my mind? How am I practicing this flexibility after I've worked it in the body? How is that helping me in that next tense conversation? Yay on the amen, everybody. Focusing in mountain pose, for example. Yes, wonderful. Yes, mountain is, mountain and Shavasana, they don't get nearly enough attention. Because Shavasana, right? We love Shavasana. Oh, I took a nap. Yep, that was called going to sleep. That wasn't yoga. Great if your body needs the rest. But can you sit in the stillness with your mind and not go crazy? Can you sit in that stillness and really connect to the subtleties of what's going on in the stillness? In that twist, there's energy spiraling all around. There's more than enough for our attention to go to, right? But in Shavas and in mountain, we're working on just this surface of the body. That's all that's in contact with the earth. Can I get information here? What information am I receiving here? Ooh, what information am I receiving here? What information am I receiving on the top of the foot? Never mind getting up into the groin. But y'all know I can sit here and yap all day long. Thank you so much. It is my deep, deep honor and privilege to be able to share in this way with you all. I am so grateful you come. I'm so grateful that you feel that there's something that you can get out of it. Have a wonderful day. Soak up that sunshine, everyone. Namaste.